Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. When you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate it with chronic disease? We all do. It's been programmed right into us. But what if we flip that whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, and of course, our lives. Let's jump right on in. I'm Andy, and joining me in everything is my life partner, Minna.
So we're now into November,
Mm-hmm.
and when we're talking about what to talk about this week, I said let's talk about goal setting for next year, and you
Mm-hmm.
said what?
So true, so true. It's funny that we decided to talk about this, and in one of my coaching calls, because coaches need to be coached by other coaches, right? So I was on another coaching call, coached by someone else, and of course her topic was goal setting. So I was like, wow, you know, the secret, the whole power of the universe, everything's aligned,
Like minds think alike.
Exactly.
I know you thought it might be a little early to plan for next year to do the New Year's resolutions, but it's actually not that early. If you think about the upcoming Thanksgiving holidays and then Christmas, people tend to be so focused on the holidays, the celebrations,
Mhm.
meeting families, meeting people they don't really like throughout the year. they, they they don't have the time to really think about what they want in the upcoming year.
Mhm.
And then the last day come and they feel like they have to make a resolution. They just make something that they make last year, which is not going to work because they failed already. And you know what? It's a vicious cycle.
Well, since you're the productivity expert, right? I'm on the health side, but you're the productivity expert. Do you think people, when they're working on the New Year's resolution goals, should they look back at past goals they didn't achieve for the year?
I think it should give you a very good idea when you make past goals, and if you don't hit it, is it because you don't it's not it's really a goal that you don't want to hit,
Hmm.
like maybe subconsciously, or is it something that's blocking you from getting there, or is it because you have some type of fear that you can't get it, or is it some type of fear that if you get it you may not like it? So there's a lot of things going on with your past goals that can tell your story what your future goals should be.
So you're saying it may be a goal you've written on paper, but it's actually a goal that you don't want because you don't actually believe in it or you fear of achieving that goal.
It's possible. You know how a lot of people, they, let's say, health wise, they want to lose 10 pounds.
Hmm.
But year after year, they gain the 10 pounds, they want to lose the 10 pounds and
Hmm.
this gain the 10 pounds back. What do you think is going on there?
Well, there's certain habits they haven't changed, obviously. But at the same time, though, I a lot of these people don't really want to change because it gets them uncomfortable, I find, and living in a certain way just wasn't part of life that they want. So it was easy losing the 10 pounds, but they were so uncomfortable in losing those 10 pounds, it just comes back.
Yeah, and it's important for you to be aware that you're not comfortable with
Hmm.
it, and for someone to actually think back what is blocking them from getting to the goals is very important for you to set your future goals because you don't want to repeat your own mistakes.
Hmm. Hmm. So, what's the best ways? What type of tips can we give for people to start planning for the new goals for the year?
Well, you know how when we did our success principles
Hmm.
training, one of the lessons in the success principle is actually, it sounds like a lot of fun, and it may not work for your goal depending on what it is, but it's called act as if.
Hmm.
And it's basically the setting that they in the training setting is that they would put all the coaches in training, ask them what they want to be, and you have this party, which would be a act as if party, and you go as the person that you wanted to be. So if you want to be a book writer, you would go in with like a fake book or something. You hold it. This is a book that I published. I'm an accomplished writer, and you behave like you're already that person.
Hmm.
And when you do that, you get a feeling of what you will turn out to be if you actually hit that goal.
So you're living the life and you're channeling that energy and that lifestyle, and you're living it in the moment. So you're just bringing in all the energies and everything that's going to help you put you into that space.
Yeah. And the other thing is you actually might not like who you become, depending what it is. I don't know.
Right.
But if you don't like that version of you, it's time that you have time to change your goal to something that you would like.
That would actually been perfect. We got invited to some Halloween party, right? Act as if, and I'm going in as a famous best time selling author or a famous TV personality or something like that, right?
Well, you know how a lot of people like to do dry January. You know how the no alcohol January. If you do the act as if that is your goal to not drink alcohol, why don't you just do act as if during your Thanksgiving parties and your Christmas parties, act as if you are already not drinking alcohol at all, and see how that changes you.
That is so true. And as a health coach, that just gets me so dry January, Andy, I'm going to quit drinking for the whole month, and then next thing you know, like I said, February comes. Oh yeah, it wasn't that hard. And then middle February, then now they're binging back on alcohol, trying to catch up on what they missed, right?
Well, the problem with this whole dry January is that you envision yourself only doing this in January. You don't envision yourself being dry all year long or for the rest of your life. So January 1st comes along, that is how you celebrate your dry January, to come out of it being alcoholic again, right? So that's why it doesn't work, in my opinion. You might have a different experience, so it's up to you what goal you want to be. But act as if is a great way for you to actually get a feel of what you will become if you actually hit your goal.
And then coming up into the new year, you're acting as if, starting low early, of course. What other steps can you take to start achieving some of the more audacious goals, you think?
Well, regardless of how unachievable your goal seems, or how big and audacious it might be, you can always break down your goals into little steps.
Okay.
Right. And when you break down little steps, you want to write down what those steps are, so you can do it step by step. That's basically what step by step means.
Correct.
And on top of that, you want to do when you want to do each of the steps, and also where you're going to do each of the steps. And when you do that, you have a very solid idea of how every step is going to look like, and you have a better chance of actually hitting your goals that way.
Well, our time's coming up for this segment, but I have a final question, and I love your input on this. So how much energy does it take to dream of a small goal versus a big goal?
Well, you know the answer to that, because somebody already gave you the answer to that, right? It doesn't take any more energy for you to dream a big goal as opposed to a small goal, but the energy is on how you're going to achieve it. And if you just dream about it, you don't put any energy on it, it doesn't matter what goal it is, you're not going to achieve it.
So true. We'll be right back after a couple of breaks, and we're going to have an amazing guest this week, Tasha.
An empowered life has no expiration date. We're all created to do incredible things, like conquer summits, catch big waves, and live our passions. As time goes on, our bodies begin to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy levels decline, sleep patterns shift, and recovery slows. But our bodies are masterpieces of design. holding the potential to bounce back better than ever. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and regenerative science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, which requires external light sources, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality, enhancing the body's flow of natural energy. For improvements in strength, stamina, performance, and overall health and well-being. With the simplicity of an affordable, non-invasive, non-transdermal patch. As we age, levels of these life-enhancing elements, which are associated with wellness and longevity, begin to decline. LifeWave invested 10 years into stem cell research, which resulted in over 70 patents. X39 was born to bring to the public a product that can support wellness in an entirely new way, supporting the production of younger, healthier cells with wearable light technology. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. Harness your body's natural potential to maintain youthful energy and vitality, because life comes at you fast, but it doesn't have to pass you by. Live long, live well, live young. Be the light with LifeWave X39. LifeWave.
Welcome to Chronically Healthy Life. Now in biohacking segment this week, we're going to make a dessert. So fall is here, so we're going to use some pears and apple and make a pear and apple crisp. When you go out to eat like an apple crisp, it usually comes with, it's usually too sweet, so mean they use a lot of sweeteners, which is probably not the best kind, and the fruits are not organic, sugar's not organic, they put all sorts of bad stuff in it. So, and it's very easy to make your own. So here's what you need. I have here 4 pears and 2 apples. So it's going to be an apple pear crisp. Now for the crisp part, I have half a cup of almonds and half a cup of cashews and half a cup of shredded coconut. All organic. All you have to do is do some prep work. You want to use the food processor and blend the nuts and the coconut together. So that would be the crisp part. And then you want to chop up the fruits, the apples and the pears into little chunks. So that, but I would keep the skin on because skin has fiber and it's good for you. Just make sure they're organic and you clean them. So when we come back, I'm going to show you how to put them all together. But right now, let's go do the prep work. All right, so I have here the processed nuts. You want to coarsely ground it with the shredded coconuts. So that's what it looks like. And then I chopped up the fruits into chunks. And here I have a pie dish that you want to oil a little bit on the bottom. So all you have to do is put in the fruits. And then put the crisp on top. And for sweetener, I have a 1 tablespoon of honey, which I'm going to add to it. And I'm also going to do just a little bit of vanilla extract. And a pinch of salt. And that should do it. So just mix it a little bit. And as simple as that, just stick this in the oven at 325 for about 25 to 30 minutes. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like after. And there it is. This is the apple and pear crisp, homemade, made with delicious organic fruits, a little bit of honey, nuts, And that's pretty much it. So it's going to be a healthy dessert. If you like, put some ice cream on top of it. That'll make it super delicious. So anyways, that's it for the week. I'll see you again next week.
Hello, and welcome back to the Chronically Healthy Life Show. I would like to introduce you to and welcome our guest today, Tasha Salinas. She is an emotional intelligence embodiment coach, motivational speaker, and former pastor who specializes in guiding others towards self-discovery and inner peace. After a 20-year marriage ended in divorce, Tasha found herself at a crossroads where embracing her own healing journey became the catalyst for a deeper understanding of life's purpose. Known for her warmth, insight, practical wisdom, and a diverse background, Tasha combines emotional intelligence and spiritual awareness to help individuals and organizations thrive and tap into their innate potential. As a passionate speaker and writer, Tasha shares her journey of enlightenment and self-love, reminding others that the key to personal power lies in knowing, trusting, and expressing oneself fully. Tasha's mission is to inspire others to embrace their own awakening and live a life of purpose. Welcome, Tasha.
Thank you so much. I just love hearing you say that. I feel so honored to be introduced in such a fantastic way. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Well,
Wow.
I love your topic today of your lived experience of enlightenment called
Yeah.
Embodied Emotional Intelligence. I just love that because I think, honestly, school doesn't do much for us. It's really experience that counts. So,
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing about schooling and learning is I think that's where we incur a lot of our injury. Honestly, like think about the playground, man, those streets were tough. So we had to earn our chops somehow, I guess.
oh yeah, don't get me started on school. I used to be a teacher.
Oh, really? Yep.
I know about a lot about what goes on in the school. But let's talk about you instead, because this is a much better topic. So tell us about your journey. You a 20-year marriage ended in divorce.
Yeah.
And tell us what's going on with you.
Yeah. So honestly, I got married right in college, actually in college. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was a trauma pairing. You know, we both had childhood issues. It was what it was. And it kept me safe for a while. And then I remember my oldest son, he was about 3 years old. And I started having like nightmares and like visions. It was wild. Now I know those were just panic attacks, but I didn't know what was going on. And so I threw myself into the church and I found a little bit of reprieve there, but it just still, I connected with the Bible and I connected with the people, but there are some things that messed with me. And so I was just trying to make sense of my life. Well, long story short, I kind of tumbled through life. And then it was February of 2020. I remember sitting with my then husband in our car and we were in the grocery store parking lot and I was feeling weird. Like it was this like restlessness. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And so I was like, I don't know what's going on, but something's going to be different a year from now. And he was like, okay, you know, like, what do you say to that? And I was like, I heard myself say it, but like, I felt the weight of that. And I was like, whatever. And then a month later, COVID hit our city and all hell broke loose. And so for me, all of my repressed fears and anxieties and everything just came out of me. And so I had what I feel like was probably a nervous breakdown, a mental breakdown. I'm not sure, but like I started having like memories come up of things that I didn't ever experience. And so all that to say, like my whole world came crashing down. I initiated the divorce while everybody, like the world was on fire. COVID to me was just the most scary thing because I was watching those numbers and I was feasting all of my energy and attention toward death and fear. And I was looking at it and like in my state, tens of thousands of people each week were being reported having this. So it's just a matter of time before my family got it, is how I felt. And so I remember breaking down and feeling like a failure of a person, a mother, a wife, because my husband and I, we were married, but there was no intimacy there.
Mm.
It was just, I just felt like a shell of a person. So what I did is I just allowed the darkness to take me over. And I know that sounds crazy, but I would allow the panic attacks to come. And I would like run to my closet. I was 40 years old or nearly 40 years old. And I would just sit in the closet and just sit there and just shudder. And it was scary. And I wouldn't scream or anything because I didn't want to go crazy. I was trying to be the good mom for my kids or whatever.
Mm.
But I just finally would like cry it out. And then, Christy, something happened in that closet. I started to, instead of seeing like the monsters, because I would have visions of yucky, scary things like little kids, like a living nightmare. But then I started imagining like all the clothing in the closet was angels and that they were singing to me and ministering to me. And it was the weirdest thing. And I, for the first time in my life, felt at peace. And it was like the engine that was my life that was kind of like this, it had turned off. The weirdest thing. And so that's where I learned what meditation was. I was a pastor, but religion taught me one thing, and no disrespect to religion, but it taught me a framework to believe in. And once I was able to turn inward, that framework came alive in me. And that's where I think really earnestly my journey of enlightenment began. So I can continue on, but that's what like broke me and where I found my me, my I amness.
Well, that's completely valid. Because sometimes that's what has to happen. You have to have the breakdown, which is really a breakthrough.
Mm.
And then you come out the tunnel on the other side and you're like, wait a minute.
Yes, absolutely. And that sense of like your paradigm shifting, it's crazy. And it doesn't happen just like that. You know, it does and it doesn't. It never really stops. So I digress.
No, it doesn't stop. And you go, and as long as I think it's imperative. I think what you said about journey inward was the most crucial element of that, because that's the real story. You know, if we sit and we obsess about what's going on out here, that's not in our control. And it's designed to make us be afraid.
Right. Absolutely.
So most of it's fake anyway. So you know, but in here, you know, when you're, you know, life is an inside job. So I love that you had that breakthrough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you initiated a divorce, but how did that change your relationship with your kids?
Yeah. So it was interesting. I actually had filed for divorce before. I divorced the same man twice. You know, it was 2013, 2014. It was for the same kind of issue. And so the kids had already been through it once. I have 3 kids, and the 2 older ones had already been through it. We got back together, and then I had my 3rd child. And then once I had to initiate it the second time, I knew in my heart that this wasn't the aligned relationship for me. I had to be honest with them as I was with myself. And so I told them, and well, you know, of course, my ex-husband, like we had that conversation. We knew for a few months before we told the kids. Very intentional divorce. I called it the most Christ-like divorce you would ever see. And because I remained true to my integrity. I'm not gonna hurt somebody to make myself feel better. Intentionally, that is. It's a painful process as it is. So all that to say, just completely open and honest with the kids. Like, this is what it is. And, you know, mommy's going to live here, daddy's going to live here. And it was a challenge, but the kids handled it with the greatest of ease, because I think, and I'm so proud to say, I'm feeling the emotion, I created a safe container for them to thrash and question and also choose joy in the midst of change. And so we had just gone through it with COVID, and, you know, life throws at you stuff. And so I think having that connection is what carried us all through it, to where now my kids are just amazing, you know, and I'm like, they are not the statistic. They are not the product of divorce that statistics or that society would tell you kids usually are. So, and I could go on for the whole day about that. But yeah, that's kind of how we handled it with the kids.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
I love that. So they have a good relationship with both you and their father.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have a great relationship. My ex and I do. We're appropriately so.
Yeah, I understood what you meant, especially with co-parenting, when you are able to come, you may not be married anymore, but co-parenting, that makes a huge difference. Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, wow.
What I'm saying, like, that's the journey of enlightenment. And if I may, I'm just going to take it and run with it. That's what enlightenment is to me, is eliminating the things that are not you. So all the fears, all the thoughts that are like keeping you in the life that is not truly aligned for you. And how you know what is aligned for you is that embodied emotional intelligence. If it doesn't feel good, it's likely there's something askew. You're out of alignment. If it doesn't feel good, maybe your thinking's off, or maybe your thinking and your feeling has to be in alignment. So if you're in your life and you're like, it makes sense, but I'm not happy, then maybe that's not the path for you. Maybe it doesn't need to make as much sense as you've made it, and you need to trust your intuition a little bit more, your inner feminine, your feeling, that flow. Right. I just walked away. I'm still a single mom, and I'm a solopreneur. Like, I'm on my own, and it's the biggest trust fall ever, but I'm as happy as I can be. And I'm magnetizing love. I'm magnetizing like my life is just incredible because I'm trusting the intuition and the logic. I'm being emotionally intelligent. With how I operate and how I live. So all that to say, that's that journey of enlightenment. And so you have to your point earlier, the breakdown is that breakthrough, is that transformation. And until you're willing to face your fears and dive into your own subconscious, there is no hope of actually being sovereign and taking conscious control of your life. And so that's what I believe a chronically healthy life is all about, is once you get that momentum going, it's chronic. Oh, and I would love to make a pun on that here in a little while, but it chronically happens. It just happens, and it's an upward trajectory. So I'm getting excited. Can you tell?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's wonderful. I love the joy and the enthusiasm. Because, well, it's just so powerful. And sometimes I think, and I know people who seem to be genuinely afraid of feeling any joy, because they just are living as if the next thing is going to crash down on them. And I'm like, well, the first thing you should do is turn off the television, and then let's go from there. Because is it a genuine fear, or is it just manufactured fear?
Yeah.
And so there's a emotional intelligence allows you to go, wait a minute, take a pause and go, wait, is this really true? And
is it feeding me? Is it feeding me? And you talked about watching the television. Mental diet is huge. So what are you feasting on? There's many people who will turn on the news as they get ready, and they're just subconsciously soaking in all of that politics, all of that, whatever it is that you're listening to. And so whatever you saturate yourself in will actually permeate your body. It absolutely will. So then you're driving in the car and you're wondering why you're raising your fist at someone of the other political party when you actually don't even care that much, or whatever, you know what I mean? But we start to go on autopilot by what we're feasting on. So to your point, mental diet, what you're consuming, garbage in, garbage out. And so
exactly. Politics is poison. So I think it's all poison. It doesn't matter what side it is, because it's all poison. But so I agree with you. It's the same thing on social media. If don't believe everything you read, and don't feel like you are obligated to take in stuff that isn't aligned with you. So I have a question.
Okay.
So how old are your kids?
18, 16, and 9.
So have they been able to process? I'm interested in this because I think this is critical, that raising kids from an aligned point of view, an emotionally intelligent point of view, makes them grow up to be adults that are phenomenal, and they're not struggling with so many things that kids are raised in these dysfunctional, narcissistic families, abusive families, and everything. So I'm wondering how, if you're seeing those manifestations in your kids.
Absolutely, yes. And it's cool because they got to see the old mom and this mom. You know what I mean? And that transition, the two big kids and then the little one. It's interesting because my two big kids, I homeschooled them, but again, I was not the healthiest I could be. So they saw a really traumatized individual. They went through the divorce with me. We just talked about that. And then they were like, "You're weird. You're being weird. You're being this way." Because I'm huge into consciousness. I'm into energetics. I'm into astrology. I'm still very extremely spiritual, not religious in the least bit. But they hear me talk and they don't know the 18-year-old and the 16-year-old. They're like, you're a hippie, you know. But I'm like, no, this is emotions. Emotions are simply energy in motion. And mommy loves everything about energy. Energy, Nikola Tesla says, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So when you put the fact of the matter that emotions are simply energy in motion and that we are energetic receivers, right? And basically the label we put to the energetic pulses are emotion. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm this, that, or the other. The thinking and the feeling makes sense. So as they saw me transition, and I'm able to articulate that because as I change, what I say and how I live and how I treat them and how I respond to my environment changes, they've evolved with me, if that makes sense. So my 18-year-old, my daughter is 18. She's off at college. This is her first year, but she entered as a junior. So she homeschooled herself, self-schooled, because I was a working single mom, self-schooled concurrently in college to where she's now living the life of her dreams. She's a theater major with a psychology minor because she wants to make movies where people learn about themselves. Like, I'm proud. My son is 16. He's the same thing. So with him, though, he's had to come into his masculine energy because he's seen a single mom, a woman, nose to the grind, doing the work, but also like relaxing. He's like, no, mom, you take a load off, you do this, which has taught me to allow a man to, you know what I mean? To have that dynamic. And he's coming into his own as well as being 16. But then I'm like, hold on, no, I'm still the authority. So we're understanding those power dynamics. That's also emotional intelligence, especially for a 16-year-old kid, a boy who is home alone because he homeschools himself. The little ones in public school. So there's a lot of emotional maturity that's needed and emotional responsibility that they have, the big kids. Now that little one, the 9-year-old, he's a public school kid. He only pretty much knows our divorce. He knows us. He knows COVID. He knows us in the middle of the divorce. And now he's different. He's also, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys, he has been bullied. Like last year, he's at a new school. This year, he's very sensitive. And I think that he is one of the new, like this generation, this younger generation, they are different. They are different. Our leaders, and they're the ones that who broke those generational curses. They're the ones that are coming anew. So I have to parent him differently. He's huge into Pokemon, and I'm seeing he actually, I think he has relationships with these, like he understands the different energies. They all have their different energies. And I'm like, we really are evolving as a human species to understand energy, to understand emotion, to understand this is the mad one, just like the movie Inside Out. We get to see emotions personified, and that helps us to see ourselves as the observer of the different facets of our psyche. I could go on forever, but that's what I think happens about those kiddos. I think they see it and they live it and they change with us. As we heal, they heal. Hurt people, healed people, heal people. I'm gonna drop the mic. You got me preaching tonight.
Oh yeah, honey. Well, we're on the same page, so this is fun. I love that. And the kids are different today. I'm desperately sorry that your youngest has to be in school. But don't get me started on that soapbox. But
I might take I'm still a solopreneur. Like I can do what I want. I could probably pull him out, but he wants to stay. And there's that tenacious thing that I'm loving in him. And he's good. He's thriving.
Well, vibrationally speaking, it may be that he's thriving there, that's the alignment for him, that he's whatever energetics are going on with the other kids and the teachers. Because teachers, you know what? Teachers are very rarely is there a bad teacher. Most teachers have a big heart and are very kind heart and love kids. And we get totally beaten up by the system because we're trying to protect the kids, you know. And so it may be that that's an alignment there.
And his teacher is absolutely like that. She is diehard for these kids, and I'm like, ma'am, but I like it as a parent. So perspective. Thank you. That helps me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anytime. So basically, you had your three know yourselves, like know yourself, trust yourself, and express yourself. So obviously it's going to start with knowing, because if you don't know yourself, you're not going to express yourself right. You're going to, or you're going to come out of trauma, which how many of us do that? I mean, it goes on all the time.
All of us.
So how do we get from, okay, so say we're on the path, we're looking at ourselves, we're examining our patterns, or these fears, are they real, are they not? And maybe it was a fear in childhood, but it's not a fear now, you know, like in the example of an abusive parent. Well, they're gone now, so is that really a fear anymore? And etc. Working through it, and then learning to trust yourself. That one is the one that I think people might get stuck on.
All right. Yeah, it's a cool thing. Know yourself, exactly right. Like, you got to know yourself. And once you get rid of anything that's not you, again, once you go inward and you get quiet, you kind of get rid of all that mental chatter and you get still, then that's when you actually rest in the knowingness of who you are. And when you feel those moments, and yeah, it can be called meditation, it can be called prayer, it could be called whatever, but when you get to your core peace, then there's that sense of self-trust. Now that's the crux that will change everything, because the expression will happen. Because once you're in alignment, you can't help but express your truth, your energy. That's why I'm shining here tonight, because I'm so happy with the truth. It is the message of salvation. I just want to be clear with you guys. Inner peace is freedom. And so have you heard the good news? It comes, the expression just happens. So once you know who you are and you find that center and that divine self, you can see the body, you can see the mind, and you see that you are actually the conscious awareness, that the trust aspect is you can only trust yourself in the right now moment. It keeps you in the present. Because if you're in the past, you're thinking about what happened, you're time traveling. Good job. You're powerful. Get out of the past, because you're supposed to be now. Right? If you're living in the future, good job. You're powerful. You're still time traveling, but come back, because you are a creative being. Now, if you're not intentionally choosing your future right now, the trust is how you turn that dial, you turn it to become intentional. So if you're looking in the past, you're reacting, you're being very accidental. But if you're in the moment, you're intentional and you make a choice to do the next right thing. So self-trust is a matter of your face, today, for example, I had to write a chapter in a book, 2,000 words. That's a lot of words for just to sit down and crank it out. But I know myself, and I know that I've been given the ability to communicate universal truths that do resonate in the heart of the individual. And so I had to get present and take a deep breath and just trust that it would come. And so I had to pull the reins back after about 3,000 words or so, because there's a lot of edits that need to be made. But that's what does the work, that self-trust in the right now moment. Well, when we get scared, we're living in the future, or maybe we're rehearsing the past. So self-trust is all about just being in the right now moment. And that's how you do incredible feats. You're there. You're in the moment. You're live. So that's it.
Yep, that is very true. I know that as a writer and as a teacher, the feeling for both of them. Yeah, because
we're kindred spirits. I'm liking this, Christy. I'm liking this a lot.
We have to talk offline.
Tell me twice.
Well, so now how do you, other than sitting in the closet and screaming into a pillow?
Okay. All right.
What would you recommend for audience members who maybe this is either new for, or it
Yeah.
has been something that's a practice that they wish to deepen,
Yes.
to
Yes.
become more connected? What are some ways that might help?
Yeah. So we're going to start in our minds. The number one thing is just to exhale anything that you're saying to yourself or thinking, anything that's pinging, like ricocheting in your head that doesn't feel good. Even if you're convinced that it's true, just don't think about it. Okay. Just exhale and be right now in the moment. So that's you always have your breath. Always. Number two, you're going to have to like work your body. So sometimes those emotions and those energies can get trapped a lot of times in our hips, a lot of times in our shoulders. We know how it feels, especially as women. And I'm just going to call it what it is. We are like, well, we need to work out. We're supposed to work out. We're supposed to work out. If you're not enjoying doing it, stop working out. But get that energy moving, whatever that looks like. Go on a walk. Don't call it an exercise. Don't call it a whatever. Just move your body, because there's so much societal pressure on women and men, but about exercising and moving your body. And we shame ourselves, and then we're supposed to be skinny, and we're supposed to, and that's just adding insult to injury. So if you're in that space, or if anybody's in that space, first of all, come back to your breath, find compassion, and just move your body. And that might be something as minor as, again, just maybe just moving, just, this kind of thing, opening up that chest a little bit, because it's all energetic. It's all love and self-compassion. So practically speaking, find that self-love through your breath, and then move your body, get out in the sun. Our bodies absorb those neutrinos, the light. It's literally the light consciousness from the sun. It's great to have the sun on your face. Allow the sun to hit that third eye and just breathe it in. Go outside barefoot on your grass in the morning and get the sun on your face just for 10 whole seconds. Just for 10 whole seconds. Just absorb that good energy as you're grounded, and that sets your energy right. So little things like that. So it's not always about working out or exercising. Drink water. Set your intentions. Like, when you have a glass of water, you can actually, hey, this is nourishing me. Thank you. So then you start to overflow with that gratitude. And as you raise your vibration and start to feel better overall, you're going to start making more aligned choices. So instead of trying to logically put yourself into healing, just be free and just follow what feels good, starting by exhaling. Because usually we're like,
Yeah.
And once we exhale, then we can take the next step. So that's just practically what I do.
So that's so cool, because especially in this day and age when everybody works on a computer and we're like this, what are you doing? You're closing in your chest. So like just even doing this and breathing.
Yes.
Although I prefer to get up and move around, but I used to be a competitive swimmer, and I used to get in the pool and pump out laps. And now one day I just said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't have to know that I'm swimming 1,000 yards or 1,500 yards. I can just enjoy it. So I started meditating while I swim, and I just get out when I feel like it. Like some days I go, some days I swim for 2 hours, and some days I'm in there for 20 minutes, and then I feel like I need to get out. And it's what a different, well, yeah, but isn't that the alignment? Because you're listening to yourself.
Yeah.
And you're
just like letting it move, letting it do its thing. You're listening to it.
So I have this really cool breath thing that I read about, and it's the way you hold your mouth. So like if you breathe in and out with your mouth in an O, that's more for like focus. Like if you're trying to say you're meditating and you want to focus on, like, you're taking yourself through a self-guided meditation or something. But if you're trying to let go of trauma in your body in some way, you don't want to do that. You want to have an open mouth.
I love this.
Isn't that cool?
That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Well, and I tend to over intellectualize everything. So I'm like breathing in for 4 counts and what I mean? All this stuff. No, I love that. No brain required, no counting required.
And your body's naturally, and if you do
Not
it,
me in
you
line at
realize.
the bank. I'll be like pumping gas.
Yeah, right.
Driving. I'm staying aligned. See me?
Focus. Well, Tasha, I'm having so much fun talking to you, but I think it's time to tell our audience how they can reach out to you. How can we find you out there in the world?
In the world, you'll find me on any stage. I'm on Facebook. It's coming to a stage near you. On Facebook, Tasha Salinas on my name. TikTok, I have a lot of fun on TikTok. I'm not super social media savvy. The best way, if you want to continue this kind of conversation, is honestly, let's just have a one-on-one, because everybody's at a different spot in their journey. We are all kind of waking up to our internal power, and part of that is that yucky period that we talked about of the breakdown. So if you need help, if you're in that breakdown stage, just reach out. There's a QR code on there. Book just a free 30-minute call with me. We'll see our alignment. If we work together, then I do offer one-on-one coaching. I'm also putting together group coaching at a discounted rate. And so I'm just looking at ways that we can kind of get the message that we are all divine human beings, that you're already enlightened. The only thing preventing you from being and feeling enlightened is your belief that you're not. So if you need help, you know where to find me.
Wonderful. So check out the QR code, everybody. All right. Thank you so much for being with us, Tasha.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
Okay, everybody, stay tuned for Kids Corner and we'll be right back. Hey, everybody. For this October, we're celebrating with ideas for kids for Halloween. In this Kids Corner, we're going to talk about an alternative to trick-or-treating if you don't want your kids to get, a ton of really, really bad candy that's very toxic. So, really fun thing for a Halloween party is a Halloween scavenger hunt. So you just make up a list of the things on the list for the hunt. It can be anything. You can get the neighbors involved. You can have everybody kind of get together, and what's really easy. Maybe you can give some of the neighbors some supplies, like maybe candles or something like that. And then you just make up your list and give it to the kids when they arrive at the party. Now, you have two options in my mind. You could either make the scavenger hunt just part of the party, or you could, when they arrive and they get their list, they have to complete the list first to get admittance to the party. You can involve the neighbors, get them going house to house, hide things in your yard, wherever the clues lead. And then it eventually leads them back to your door and they get to come in and be part of the party. So some tips for this: if you laminate the scavenger hunt list and give the kids dry erase markers, then you can reuse them later. Or when kids finish and more kids come, you can erase them and give them out. You can up the fun level by letting kids discover a hidden treasure at certain strategic points on the hunt. So like, for example, there could be a treasure chest of stickers or candies or little small toys or even coupons that they can redeem from you at the party. And again, if the neighbors are involved, it becomes a lot more fun, and you can get all the neighborhood kids involved instead of having traditional trick-or-treating. So this is a super fun alternative to trick-or-treating for a Halloween party, and you can add in all kinds of fun, festive arts and crafts or games that are Halloween themed at the party. So enjoy, have a safe, fun, and healthy Halloween, everybody. Ciao.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science. longevity, at exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
Hello, we are Mutts and Meows Rescue, a 501c3 nonprofit, foster-based, no-kill group. Mutts and Meows Rescue pulls dogs and cats from surrounding shelters in the greater Houston area. We even pick up dogs and cats abandoned on the streets. Mutts and Meows Rescue is foster-based and rely on your donations to keep rescuing. To know more about us is to know more about our furry friends and help them find their forever homes. Come visit us at Mutts and Meows Rescue on Facebook today and decide how you can make a difference.
Welcome back to Chronically Healthy Life. I think Christy and Tasha had a great time. They had great energy together.
Like they said, it's all about energy. We're vibrant beings. We all vibrate. We absorb light. We get activated by sounds, right? I think what they were talking about was so important for a lot of people to think about how we are as vibrant beings.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we want to think ourselves as scientific. All these things is actually sciences. We just don't understand it yet. So, but there are a lot of bases, and we should give it a try.
Exactly. So next week we have returning guest Linda Marcinicos. I hope I pronounced her last name correctly. To come back to our show to share a little bit more insight.
Great. So join us back here on Friday, 7 p.m. CST. You can watch past episodes at watch.e360tv.com in the Vitality TV network, on our YouTube channel, Chronically Healthy Life. And if you'd like to know more about what we do and how we can help you live a chronically healthy life, visit us on our website at chronicallyhealthylife.com.
And make sure to scan the QR code, book your 30-minute free sessions with me or Minna, so we can help you live a chronically healthy life. And if you have any comments, questions, suggestions for our show, please comment on our Facebook page, Chronically Healthy Life, or email us at anything@chronicallyhealthylife.com.
You see you next week.
See you next week.